to Finance Magnates executive interviews once more. Thank you for joining us today with FMLS 2025. I'm joined here by Stephen Miles, Chief Revenue Officer at FYNXT. Thank you so much, Stephen, for joining me.
You're welcome.
How is the event going so far?
It's great. What a venue and good crowd. And so far this morning, it's been really productive.
Day one, first morning. It's always exciting, buzzing with energy. Let's talk a little bit about FYNXT. When we talk about 2025, what are the main challenges that FYNXT is seeing in terms of operational challenges, and how does FYNXT solve them?
Yeah, look, the brokerage industry out there in general is looking for, a growth in business, both in terms of velocity and, a growth in their volumes and a growth in new clients. And typically, they're needing to compete on more of a technology footing, whereas in the past, tooling will be used to kind of speed up, augment, support the business. Now it's really about technology platforms. And really, having a unified modular technology approach is really key to not just bringing the brokerage right up to date, but actually giving them that unfair competitive advantage to enable them to compete and be successful in the marketplace.
So we're talking about technology, and FYNXT is, you define yourselves basically as a brokerage technology solution, right? Operational solution.
Yeah, I mean, we're a technology provider to the brokers. We really give them the latest generation of digital technology to help them modernize their brokerage and think about new growth.
And how does that impact, let's say, a CEO, a COO? How does that help them in their business?
Well, it's really, again, trying to help them think through, okay, if I can do the basics of protecting my installed base, but growing and acquiring a new set of customers so that the net impact is I can grow my business. And then if I can use technology to help drive greater volumes, increase the trading activity, and really try to find ways of helping my customer base, my trading base, be more successful, then I'm going to find those unique differentiators to really grow and power my business. Because you know what, there's a lot of brokerages out there, all chasing after pretty much the same client base, the same money in some sense. So how do you set yourself apart? How do you be different? Well, technology is now proving to be, I think, the leading ways by which brokerages can be different and get ahead of their competitors.
And as part of that technology, I understand that one of your most popular tools or features is the IB Manager, is it?
Yeah. And that's a very interesting product that you mentioned, because on the one hand, you need to come into what is a quite traditional area of the business. Many brokers use the IB channel as an effective route to market, particularly in offshore markets where IBs are very prevalent. But in many ways, it's been an area of the business which is quite low tech. It's been sort of strung together on relationships, on promises, on Excel spreadsheets. And it really needed a fresh approach, which was fully automated, but creating that nice ecosystem of value so that, the IBs can be correctly rewarded and compensated through commissions and rebates, that there's no kind of like, continuous arbitrage going on to try and figure out when it's wrong or not right, or when we don't all agree with the amounts that should be settled. So quick settlement, accurate settlement, single source of truth, but supported across very broad-based infrastructure. So master IBs and sub IBs, and then making that work as, really a real ecosystem of value. And, some of the things which stand out for us in terms of success we've had in that area is just watching how the IBs for each broker have been retained, how we've grown the volume of each IB, how the lifetime value of each IB has, multiplied in some cases by 11-fold, just simply by running and automating a proper digital system. So yeah, great part of our portfolio, adopted by most of our large brokers, and as you said, everybody uses it as a fundamental route to market.
And we're talking about technology, and you mentioned that the way it can help the CEOs and the COOs is to be more profitable, generate more revenue by using solid technology that can improve some processes. Um,
Well, for one important reason as well, think about the IBs. They have choice.
yeah.
Any broker can come into any market and say, "Hey, sign up with us, and we'll be a good broker partner." And the IBs do. They sign up and have multiple broker relationships. So signing the IB up, if you like, is the smallest part of the challenge. How do you make sure you retain them? How do you make sure you're getting the majority wallet share, if you like, of the volume? You're going to have to offer better services. You're going to have to offer quick and accurate settlement. You're going to have to help them grow their business.
Yeah, I was going to ask you actually, because you mentioned this and you also mentioned sometimes 11-fold.
Yes.
Stuck with me. What are the measurable business outcomes that FYNXT can contribute to, let's say?
Well, for many of the brokers which have deployed our IB systems, what we've seen typically is a faster onboarding of the IBs in general. But once the IBs are on board, very quick revenue attribution that keeps them happy and gets them to trust the new broker relationship that they have. And then the third dimension, which really they find appealing, is just their ability to work with the broker to grow the volume. Because think about it, an IB is going to bring his trading-based clients to the equation. They're going to want to come on board, and some of them are a bit experienced. Maybe they want to be connected with a money manager and have, a PAM-based experience in terms of the engagement. Or maybe they just simply want to copy the trading of somebody who's an experienced broker who's, perhaps is just the way that they choose to trade and do business. And so having that ability to not just bring the IB on board and build a basis by which you can establish mutual trust and an ongoing relationship, but then introduce your clients to the services on the back end that support that through the different offerings that brokers bring. It's that kind of service differentiation which is making the difference. That's why we've seen an 11-fold increase in LTV per IB, just as one example. That's why we've seen a reduction of the cost of acquisition as well, because you no longer have to spend quite so much time recruiting for new IBs for the ones you've lost, because your retention is so high. You can now work on more qualitative relationships and focus in terms of where you spend your money in terms of driving volume. So reducing the CAC and growing the LTV.
I'm going to be a little bit polemic here. Technology, right?
Yes.
Saving cost, improving your revenue.
Yes.
Why not build it yourself? Build versus buy.
That's interesting. And you know what? It's fair to say that I would guess, 80%, maybe more, of most of the money that brokerages spend today is on in-house tech builds. Why do they do it? Well, for them, their world's complex. Sometimes third-party vendors don't understand their world that well. Sometimes we just don't build the right technology fast enough. Maybe in the past it's been quicker for them to just go off and get it done because it's the fastest route to market. But what we're seeing as an opportunity at FYNXT is they quite often take that path as a well-intentioned step to go solve a problem, but they find they uncover hidden challenges along the way, like they hit technology walls and challenges they hadn't thought about. Maybe they didn't design and build the right architecture from day one, and again, hit walls of scalability and futures which perhaps they hadn't thought about when they designed it. Can't hire all the developers in the world because guess what? There's a global shortage. And maybe don't have the latest skills, vis-a-vis new tech platforms, architectures, languages, code, etc. So we find that with the greatest of intent, they hit a wall pretty quickly and need to come back to the independent, what we call the commercial off-the-shelf offerings, just simply because it's more modern tech, it's better architectures, it's more modular, it's more future-proof, and quite frankly, they can build it quicker. So we've done very well as a company through the unified but modular approach, using this new tech code-based platform. And what we're finding is we're winning in two areas. One, brokers who just simply want to plug holes because they've got gaps with what they built in-house, or they've come to us and said, you know what, we've been doing this for 3 years, it's not working, it's costing us more, in terms of opportunity costs than maybe what we set out from the design standpoint. Why don't we kind of rebuild it with you? Because we think you've got a better platform. And so we're now being adopted in as their new core platform. Yet because we've got this lovely modular approach, they get the benefits of in-house tech build, but on an industrialized third-party COTS off-the-shelf forward capable solution. So that's what we're seeing.
And if a broker is watching today, what would be your recommendation to them for 2026?
Well, obviously, I'm going to be biased and say, come and talk to FYNXT because seriously, wherever you are, wherever you're stuck, whatever your problem is, there's probably something that we can provide to help you. But, you know, it's going to be a heavily differentiated world out there. We're all competing for the same customers. We're all competing for the same business. And there's only so much money going around and so much liquidity. So digitize your business, modernize your operations with FYNXT, give us the ability to help you build your new go-to-market strategy in terms of being the differentiated offering in the marketplace so that you can be different, grow, acquire, retain. And then let us build the business with you because we think we can, and that's what we've been doing for some of our most successful deployments.
Perfect. That's good. Thank you so much, Steven. It was a great pleasure talking to you.
You too.
Thank you all for watching.
Thank
See you
you.
in the next one.